session. I'm discussing about EUS mediastinal anatomy. The main agenda and contents of this talk would be to understand the anatomy of mediastinum, to get the orientation of EUS scope position and movements in the mediastinum, and interpretation of anatomy with the scope movements to get the image. Mediastinum is the space between the two lungs, extends from the root of the neck to the diaphragm. It is divided into superior and inferior parts. Inferior part is further subdivided into anterior mediastinum, posterior mediastinum. In between there is heart. Esophagus is a part of the posterior mediastinum. Trachea, heart, and the great vessels are anterior to esophagus. One of the main indications for performing mediastinal EUS is to evaluate the lymph nodal stations. There are 14 lymph nodal stations as proposed by International Association of Lung Cancer. This image is a bit confusing, but let me make it simple. Station 1 lymph nodes are in the neck, can be easily detected by clinical examination and ultrasound, whereas 10 to 14 are located at the hilum of the lungs and better evaluated by EBUS. Whereas station 2 to 9 lymph nodes are in the mediastinum. They can be further simplified by dividing based on their location, whether they are above the carina or below the carina. Stations 7, 8, and 9 are below the carina and can be best evaluated by EUS. Station 2 to 6 are above the carina. Of these, 2 and 3 are above the aortic arch. 4L, 5, and 6 are at the aortopulmonary window, which can be evaluated by EUS. So I'm discussing this topic under 4 stations from below upwards. These are lower esophagus, subcarinal space, aortopulmonary window, and upper esophagus. This is according to the lymph nodal stations that I had discussed previously. So there are various landmark structures in the mediastinum. A landmark structure is a familiar structure which is easily identifiable, usually a vascular structure, and that helps in further evaluation of that particular station. In lower esophagus, we have IVC. In mid esophagus, left atrium is the most important landmark. Descending aorta and azygous vein are also the important landmarks here. In upper esophagus, arch of aorta and its branches are the important landmarks. Coming to the second aspect of this talk, that is understanding the linear scope position and movements. I am mainly discussing the linear EUS. Radial EUS is almost similar to a CT transection. I am not discussing here. So when a linear scope is positioned longitudinally in the patient and the transducer is facing anteriorly, a clockwise rotation move the scope in the same direction, that means towards the right side of the body. If the scope transducer is facing posteriorly, a similar clockwise rotation will actually move the scope towards the left side of the body, that is opposite movement. So let me explain this better in this cross section. This is a human model cross section simulating almost like a CT scan. This is the esophagus. Anterior to esophagus is the heart. On right side, there is azygous vein. On posterior aspect, and descending aorta on left side. So when the scope is in esophagus in neutral position facing anteriorly towards the heart, to visualize the right side structures, we need to move the scope towards the clockwise direction, and to see the left side structures, we move the scope towards the anti-clockwise direction. So that means to visualize azygous vein, move clockwise star, and to see the descending aorta, give anti-clockwise star. So let me explain in this human model. This is a sagittal section almost simulating the linear scope. The scope is in the esophagus, anteriorly the heart. If we are giving a clockwise star, we can see with clockwise star, azygous vein comes into the view. Once azygous vein is in the view, on further clockwise star, we can see the vertebral bodies and then aorta. This is how the linear EUS rotation should be performed. So on linear EUS, here we are giving anti-clockwise star from here towards the descending thoracic aorta. So esophagus, the linear scope is in the neutral position facing towards anteriorly. Left atrium we can see. And from here, if we give anti-clockwise torque, so esophagus facing left atrium, from here, if we give anti-clockwise rotation, it moves the scope towards the left side, and we can appreciate the descending thoracic aorta. From here, if we move further anti-clockwise, we can see the vertebral bodies and then azygous vein, which is on the right side of the vertebra. If you give reverse movement from here towards clockwise, aorta, and from further clockwise, we can see the anterior chambers of the heart. So let us move on to the station-based approach. The first station is lower esophagus. From here, we can evaluate IVC draining into the right atrium. Station 8 and 9 lymph node stations are close to this station. So this is a human model, like linear cross section. If you see here, when the scope is at the GE junction, we can see the stomach. This is the left lobe of the liver, and this is IVC. So when the scope is in the neutral position facing anteriorly, left lobe of the liver is anterior to the transducer. From here, if you move towards the clockwise, we can see the IVC. So once we see the IVC, we can appreciate the hepatic veins joining the IVC. From here, if we further withdraw, we can appreciate inferior vena cava joining the right atrium. On further evaluation, we can evaluate the rest of the structures. So this is EUS video. Scope is at the G junction in neutral position facing the left lobe of the liver. This is the diaphragm and this is the heart. From here, if we give a clockwise torque, we can see the porta. On further clockwise torque, we can see the IVC, these are the hepatic veins joining. On withdrawal of the scope, we can appreciate IVC draining into the right atrium. We can also appreciate superior vena cava joining the right atrium. And from here, we can appreciate the left atrium also in the field. This becomes an important landmark in the subcarinal space evaluation. So next, to move on to subcarinal space, which is the most important station for evaluation of the mediastinal anatomy. So this is the left atrium, which is the posterior most part of the heart, lying very close to the esophagus, and this is the right pulmonary artery. You can see the tracheal bifurcation here. So the space between the left atrium and the right pulmonary artery is the subcarinal space. On lateral view, this is the tracheal bifurcation. This is the left atrium. We can see the pulmonary artery giving rise to right pulmonary artery, and the space between the left atrium and the right pulmonary artery is the subcarinal space. Further anatomical details are important here. Let us see the CT section at left atrium level. When we see from the esophagus, this is the left atrium, which is very close. In front of it, we can see the aortic wall. This is the right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle comes here. So from left atrium, to evaluate the rest of the structures, we need to give anti-clockwise torque because these are on the left side primarily. So this is the section at the pulmonary artery. We can see the pulmonary artery dividing into the right pulmonary artery and the left pulmonary artery. Right pulmonary artery is very close to the esophagus, so we can see very easily. This is the ascending aorta. On right side of it, we can see the superior vena cava. Aorta is actually towards the right side of the pulmonary artery, though it is arising from the left ventricle. From here, it takes arch, move towards the left side, and further it descends as a descending thoracic aorta, which is actually on the left side. All these anatomical details we can evaluate here. So this is again the linear model. The space between the left atrium and pulmonary artery is the subcarinal space. I'll start the EUS evaluation of the subcarinal space where we ended in the lower esophagus. That means IVC joining the right atrium, and this is the superior vena cava. We can appreciate the left atrium also. So once left atrium is in the vision, we can give anti-clockwise start to see the right ventricle, and this is the pulmonary artery origin. So further anti-clockwise start, we can see the aortic root better here. From here, if further anti-clockwise start, we can see the mitral wall and thick muscle of left ventricle. Also, we can see the pulmonary trunk giving rise to right pulmonary artery. From left ventricle, if we again give a clockwise start, we can come back to the aortic root, and also pulmonary trunk we can see giving rise to the right pulmonary artery. So the space between the left atrium and the right pulmonary artery is the subcarinal space. The next most important station is the aortopulmonary window, which is located between aortic arch and the left pulmonary artery. So from esophagus, if we evaluate, this is the aortic arch, this is the pulmonary artery giving rise to left pulmonary artery. From posterior aspect, you can see aortic arch and the left pulmonary artery. The space between the lower margin of the aortic arch and the left pulmonary artery is the aortopulmonary window. In the beginning, it may be sometimes difficult to find this space, but with understanding the concept, we can easily examine this. There are two standard methods described for the evaluation of the aortopulmonary window. In one method, we can start from anterior aspect, that means towards the trachea, and move towards the posterior aspect. This aortopulmonary window is actually on the left side in the midway. That means from anterior aspect, if we do a 90-degree anti-clockwise torque, we can see the AP window. The second method is evaluating from the posterior structure, that is the descending aorta. So from descending aorta, if we move a clockwise torque, we can see the AP window at 90 degrees. So actually this is a single movement from anterior to posterior, and AP window comes in between. So we can do in either way. Let me show this on aortopulmonary window. So we start from subcarinal space. So this is the left atrium, right pulmonary artery, subcarinal space. Keep the right pulmonary artery into the focus. Slow withdrawal, we can appreciate tracheal rings are coming here. Once we see the tracheal rings, give 90-degree anti-clockwise torque towards left side here. We can see the aorta and the left pulmonary artery. So the space between these two is the aortopulmonary window. On further tracing this aorta towards anti-clockwise, we can see the descending aorta and the aortic arch. From here, if we give clockwise torque towards the 90-degree, we can again come back to the left pulmonary artery, and this is the aortopulmonary window. Keep the aorta in focus, anti-clockwise torque, again aorta. So there are certain important lymph node stations at AP window. 4L station lymph nodes are anterior to the aortic arch. Station 5 is the actual AP window, which is in between the left pulmonary artery and aorta. Station 6 lymph nodes are posterior to the aorta. Coming to the last station, that is upper esophagus. From here, we can evaluate the aorta and its branches. This is the CT section showing aortic arch. On right side, there is superior vena cava. From esophagus, we can evaluate the aortic arch. So we can see the branches of aortic arch here from left side to right side. It gives rise to left subclavian artery, left common carotid artery, and the brachiocephalic trunk, which further divides into right subclavian and right common carotid artery. From esophagus, we can see the left subclavian and left common carotid artery clearly. Evaluating brachiocephalic is difficult because trachea comes in between. Among the venous structure, left brachiocephalic vein is in close association with these arteries. We can see this on EUS. It goes towards the right side, joins with the right brachiocephalic vein to form the superior vena cava. Let's see on EUS. So this is aorta, aortic arch. From here, a gentle clockwise torque, we can see the first branch from the arch, that is left subclavian artery. We can also appreciate the left brachiocephalic vein. From here, if we give a further clockwise torque towards the right side, we can see the left common carotid artery. Brachiocephalic trunk is difficult to see due to trachea here. And from left common carotid artery, if you move again the scope towards anti-clockwise, that means towards the left side, we will again come back to the left subclavian artery. We can trace left subclavian artery further into the neck to evaluate the lymph nodal stations that are close to them. So to summarize, understanding the anatomy is crucial for the examination of mediastinum. Interpretation of anatomy with scope orientation makes examination simple. Subcarinal area, aortopulmonary window are the important stations and can be evaluated in detail with EUS. Thank you.